You're listening to the Empire Network.
Hello everyone, insert your coins and press start. It's time for another episode of Hyperspace Gaming. Tonight I am Player 1, McMahon. It's a pleasure to be here with all of our fellow gamers across the world. Joining us is Player 2 this evening. Mondo, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. Feels good to be doing this tonight.
It's always a great time to be doing this. And Player 3, Sage, how you doing?
Are you kidding me? Player 3?
That's right, Player 3.
You're telling me I can't even play unless we have one of those expansion
That's right, we need a
thingies?
multi-tap to play with you.
This is BS. I'm out. Peace. Awesome to be here. We got a fun couple of topics to talk to you guys about tonight. We're gonna take a trip down memory lane. Gonna talk a little bit about the origins of Mario
The
and
godfathers of gaming.
and Sonic, which Evo and DP backed out of. Apparently they didn't have interest in talking about, two games that helped build gaming to what it is today.
Oh, the
By
faces of
help,
gaming.
You mean build console gaming?
Yeah,
as we
well, I mean, I believe the quote was they have no interest in Evo's it's before his time, so, which
Well, that
made me
might
kind
be
of feel
accurate.
old.
For years, and to this day, really, I mean, Sonic not so much, because of the difficulties that Sega's had over the last decade and a half. But for Mario, I mean, Mario really still is the face of gaming, regardless of what kind of success or failure you think Nintendo's had as a console. I was buying lunch for work earlier this week, and I was
How
going
does it
down
always come back to food with you?
oh,
Even on Hyperspace Gaming.
Well, it just hear me out though. I was going down, getting my little snackies for work, for lunch and stuff, and I had they have Super Mario SpaghettiOs, soup, and like little fruit snacks that you can buy, and I don't know, just kind of cool to see that. It reminds me when I was a kid. You guys remember they had? I don't know if you guys had them up in Canada, but here in the States we had Sonic the Hedgehog shaped SpaghettiOs.
At the time, we might have. I can't.
Yeah, you're dating yourself here.
I remember Super Mario cereal. I can't say I remember Sonic shaped.
Let's take it back. Let's start with everyone's first experience with Mario. Fizz, what was the first Mario game you ever played, and what do you remember of it?
First experience of Mario, being a child and unplugging my mother's controller on a consistent basis.
True story?
Mario goes that far back for me. It's been part of my life since as long as I could hold a controller. First Mario game I can remember playing in earnest would probably be Mario 3, that I can truly remember. I mean, of course, I've played them all, but that's the one that sticks through the early memories.
Mondo, how about you?
Man, so I'm 26, and I remember playing Mario 1. And it was the Mario double pack that had the Mario with the Duck Hunt on it.
Yep.
And yeah, and I remember playing it, and I remember I used to think that on the old Nintendo with the little garage door opener, that if you beat the game, money would appear in the console. Like that was, I don't know, like it's just Mario, man. I remember that, and like to this day, I think Mario, like if I beat this, I might get money.
Well, if that was the case, I'd have a very rich family.
My first experience of Mario was Mario 1, but it wasn't the double pack, it was the triple pack. Yes, there was a triple pack for Mario 1, and it came with Mario, Dunk Hunt, and this terrible Olympic game, which I always wanted to play but never worked properly.
Yeah, I've got that. It came with the mat that you ran on, and then
Yep.
yep.
It
That That one takes
Oh
you to
man,
a weird place.
this is how vividly I remember Mario 1. At least the beginning. You start off on a daytime map, and when you go down the tunnel, you end up pretty much on this black screen with blue bricks, and that's pretty much what I remember from Mario 1. I mean, a lot of the maps are very similar in Mario 1 because, I mean, graphics weren't exactly at their heyday there. I remember some early age Black Shark Flyer things. I think Mario 1 came out, 85, 3 years before I was born, I believe.
Yeah, 1985 with the console.
I mean, that's an old game. I will say this. I remember almost nothing of Mario 2.
Nobody really does.
That's because Mario 2, if I remember correctly...
Are we referring to the actual Super Mario 2? Like with the one that was pretty much exclusively only played by anyone ever in the All-Stars game? Or
pack? I remember the All-Star game.
Are we talking actual Mario 2, the Lost Levels?
No, there was actually a Super Mario Brothers 2.
I'm aware of that. That's what I just said. Are we talking the actual Super Mario Brothers 2?
Yeah,
I'm talking
or the real Super Mario Brothers 2, the Lost Levels?
Well, the Lost
You're
Levels...
confusing me here.
The Lost Levels was Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan and was supposed to be in America, but Nintendo of America decided that it was too hard for the Americans to play.
Really?
Really. So they actually turned Super Mario Brothers 2, as we know it, is actually Doki Doki Panic 2 in Japan. Yeah.
I remember this. Super Mario Brothers 2 had this terrible little intro screen, and I think let's see if I can pull it up here on Google. Yep, indeed, I was completely right here. It has you have Mario and the princess and
Toad,
Luigi, and Luigi is holding one of those what looks to be almost like a Jawa-like thing over his head, and it looks like Toad's throwing a piece of garlic. If that's what that's supposed to be.
I think it's a radish.
It was a radish as they were in that game, yeah.
I remember being very annoyed with that game and really not liking Super Mario Brothers 2 at all.
Nobody really liked Super Mario Brothers 2 as we got it in North America.
And if I recall, it's actually a harder game to find because if I remember correctly, it didn't do so well.
It didn't. Outside of the All-Stars packs, you really can't find it as a standalone game. I've never seen it as a standalone game.
Well, you would have seen it at my house. I had it as a standalone game, Fizz. I had 1, 2, and 3 as standalone games.
I'm talking about the actual what actually was released as Mario 2.
One wasn't. Yeah, one wasn't. Remember, 2 had like a blue cover. That's what I remember of it.
And it had like a different art style, kind of, on the cover.
And then, sorry, go ahead, Mondo.
Oh, if you just look at it, it's like a even the game had like a really different artistic-ish style to it. It was weird.
It was absolutely, completely, totally, 110% different because...
Did we lose Mondo there?
No, I'm
here. I
don't
believe so.
Oh,
just kind of trailed off.
No, gotcha. I was done, and I thought you were trying to speak, so I figured I'd... And
then we have Super Mario Brothers 3, which I like to call Rise of the Raccoon.
That sound you're hearing,
looks like
that's
raccoon.
Tumbleweeds.
I don't remember much about 3, other than there's quite a bit of flying, and that the graphics were tremendously better than 1 and 2. That's about all I have for 3.
Didn't 3 introduce the actual world-like feel?
Well, as a traversable area, yes.
Yeah. And then didn't it also introduce the underwater level?
I believe there was underwater in
1. There's lots of water in 3. That I can tell. That's one of my favorite part about Mario is the little maps it shows you going across as you're playing the game.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
that's
like
cool.
yeah, the world that
Yeah.
you actually play through. Yeah, and that's one thing I like. What Nintendo did is their well, I don't want to say most recent Mario game now, but one of their most recent games, they went back to that. And it's actually the 2D style, but with obviously today's art and stuff like that, and it really has like that original old school feel to it. And I'm not talking about Mario Maker. I'm talking about New Super Mario Brothers. And it's a lot of fun. And it really takes you back to that. Because it's kind of like a little bit of all of it thrown into one.
Let's, not to cut you off, Mondo, but we are tight on time. Let's move on to another Mario game here. And for my money, the best Mario game ever. Super Mario World.
2 Yoshi's Island? I agree. Great game.
Yes. That's
I don't know
really...
if I should come over there and slap you right now or not.
Why, you mean you didn't like the sound of Baby Mario crying every 30 seconds?
No, Super Mario World was... To me, that's when Mario stepped into its prime. I mean, yes, Mario 1 and Mario 2, or Mario 3, I should say, were highly popular, but Super Mario World, man, that just did something. They took something great and made it better.
Man, I had an obsession with Yoshi. I hated playing the game without Yoshi.
You really did.
Yeah.
I saw this guy try and go through water levels and get mad because he couldn't take Yoshi. Just... Oh man, he's a dinosaur. He can't swim. Leave him alone.
Yoshi made that game. I mean, no, that game was amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. I mean, Yoshi is one of the additions to Mario that I don't think Mario would almost be the same today without him.
And Fizz, you have anything you want to add on Super Mario World?
Oh, it was a phenomenal game, as long as you were playing with a second player who didn't always try and steal your lives.
Growing up, we had the original Nintendo, but my dad was a huge Disney guy, and Disney kind of had like this alliance with Sega. I mean, you went to their theme parks and they had Segas everywhere. So when it came to the Genesis Super Nintendo era, he leaned toward the Genesis. So I never actually got to play much of games like Donkey Kong and Super Mario World. I remember having to go to Toys R Us when they would have the consoles out and play it there, and it was fun, man.
Let me bring up one last Mario game before we move on to another legendary builder of video games. I'm right with you though, Mondo. With I didn't have a Super Nintendo till I was 12 or 13, well past its expiry. PS2 was out at that point. However, I remember playing a lot of Super Nintendo at McMahon's and my cousins and some family friends. But one of the rarest Super Nintendo games to find after pretty much Super Nintendo stopped making games. If you went and bought a used console, good luck finding this game. In fact, it'd be interesting to see what this game's worth on eBay right now or Kijiji or something. Super Mario Kart. What does everybody remember of Super Mario Kart? I remember being absolutely obsessed with that game. Loved it. Anytime I went over to a friend's house that had Super Nintendo, it was always, do you have Super Mario Kart? Do you have Super Mario Kart? Oh, it was that after, do you have WWF Royal Rumble? That was number one. But Super Mario Kart, close second. I just loved the game. I loved the slipping on the banana peels, shooting things at people and hitting people, and the ice level, and oh my god. Fizz, what are your memories of Super Mario Kart?
I enjoyed it. I always did. But it wasn't my favorite. I mean, it was fun, and it was definitely a niche, but it fell into that same vein as Mario Party would go on to get, and that it's not Mario. It's Mario adjacent, but it's not Mario. It's still fun, absolutely awesome, but it's not Mario. Not to me.
See, for me, the first one was, and then everyone after that was just sort of, I still didn't like it as much as Super Mario World, but It was a damn
Neither
close
of
second
those
for
were my
me.
favorite Mario games.
That it was
What's
cool.
your favorite Mario game?
On the SNES, my favorite Mario game, easily Super Mario RPG.
I don't know if I ever played that.
I absolutely loved that game. You know, finally getting a as 3D as you could get on an SNES Mario in an open world. It was a phenomenally fun game.
I'm
getting
looking at
to
the images of it
compete.
now. I can say I never played this game.
You missed out, buddy. You missed out.
Yeah, they've even kind of rebooted that on the 3DS quite a bit, and there's a lot of those style of Mario games on that, and they're a lot of fun.
Mario and Luigi Dream Team.
See, I don't know. I don't like the whole Mario open world thing though. Like, I hated the Mario games that came out on 64 and then on GameCube. It was just so give me
GameCube I
classic
don't
Mario.
count because the only real Mario game that came out on the GameCube was Sunshine. And I hated it.
So
Yeah, Sunshine was cool. It was all right, I guess. I mean, I played it. I enjoyed it. But it was a little different. It's kind of where, to me, that's when Mario kind of started going down Nintendo started kind of going down that path of taking some of their characters to some weird places. You mentioned Mario Kart. I think that was one of the first true successful spin-off games, where they took a franchise and they took it somewhere completely different than what it was before. And my favorite Mario, it's a toss-up between Mario 64. I don't know why, that's just a fun game, and
I despised that game. Hated it.
I hated it because at the time I played 64, I was still getting used to the whole analog stick C-stick thing, and I could never keep the camera at an appropriate angle. The camera kept getting obscured and awkward.
Yeah.
It took me out of the game having to readjust the camera all the time.
See, I hated it as a kid, but as I got a little older, and when I didn't, again, my dad was kind of anti Nintendo. I didn't get a 64 until I had my original Xbox, so it was quite a bit after its prime and heyday. But after I went back and played it as I was a little older, man, I fell in love with it. It was such a great game. So many cool little facets to it. And I really like the new Super Mario Brothers. It kind of has that Super Mario World feel to it.
I don't mean to cut you off. Okay, finish up your thought, but we got to stay on top here, boys.
Yeah, so if anybody's got a Wii U, or I even think it's on the Wii as well.
The first one came out on the Wii.
Yeah, or the 3DS or the DS. It plays a lot like the old Super Mario World. It's a lot of fun to play.
Alrighty, well, that's what we have for you on Mario. We're going to move over to Sonic. Who remembers the first Sonic game? I'll be honest, I don't. I never even played it.
Oh, really? That's like one of the coolest games ever. I remember, for me, I told you I got a Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis was the first console that my dad bought specifically for me.
Now, I believe the first Sonic game came out prior to Sega Genesis, did it not? Or
no.
You know how Sega had the two. They had the two different. I mean, they played the same games.
Yeah, the Master Drive.
But they had the two different. Yeah, they had two different looks to them.
Well, the Master Drive was still the Genesis. It was just. It was. I want to say it was the Japan name for it, and then when they came over to America, I believe it was called the Genesis. If I recall.
I just remember they had a different look to it. That's all I remember.
Yeah, well, Sega kind of did what Sony does with the PlayStation. After it had been out for a while, they had updated the style. Because they had, the long kind of rectangular one that had, the switches on it and stuff. And then they went to the more square Sega Genesis, which is
very different. You're confusing two different things. The Sega Master System was first.
No, it was called the Genesis. No,
the Sega Master System was the first console, and then the Sega Genesis came out, and then the Game Gear, and then it was Sega CD.
No.
Okay, wasn't the first Sonic on the one prior to Genesis?
Yeah, the map, but they played the same games. It was the Master, because like you could actually buy Sega Genesis games that have Master Drive, that are in a Master Drive case and say Master Drive on them, but they're a Sega Genesis cartridge that you just pop into Sega Genesis.
Yeah, that thing looks ugly. I'm looking at it now. Good God. Anyway, I don't remember anything about Sonic 1. What do you guys remember?
Yeah, I remember Marble. I think it was called Marble. Something's like the second level. That level always creeped me out because it's all gray and you got lava all over the damn place. And it was crazy.
Fizz, do you remember anything about Sonic 1?
Running really fast. Not really having any idea what you're doing other than just running really fast. There was never that element of depth that Mario had.
Sonic 2, it doesn't seem like anybody has much to say about Sonic 1. Sonic 2, to me, was leaps and bounds better than any Sonic game I had ever played. Sonic 2 was amazing. Right from the get-go. You start off on, I can't even remember the name of that first level. But, I mean...
Was it Emerald City Zone?
Emerald Island?
Emerald
Isle,
City Zone is the second level. I know what you're talking about. You have the city, and you have the blue pipes you're going up, and if you go far enough down, the water starts to go over the top of your head. And then after that level, you have the casino, the pinball machine.
Yep.
Which is oh my god! I would, if someone needs to find me an emulator.
Green Hill Zone, that's what it was.
Someone needs to find me an emulator of this game so I can play it again, or they need to release it on the Xbox One.
So Sonic 2 was actually the first video game that was bought specifically for me, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. Dr. Robotnik in that game and those boss battles that you had were just incredible, and they were fun as hell.
Do you remember the oil level at the very end?
Yes.
Oh, that was a pain in the ass.
It was.
I think I failed that level 1,000 times before I finally beat it.
What brings me back to Sonic was the way that the Sega Genesis controller felt in your hand, right? It almost felt like holding like a thick boomerang. Kind of curved. I
always like to think, because every map had like 2 levels to it, right? You had the first one where you just did it in a certain amount of time, and you pass the thing at the end that spins and usually shows Robotnik at the end.
Yeah.
And then you have the second one where you actually have the boss.
Yeah.
Fizz, any memories of Sonic 2?
Same thing. I was a Nintendo guy growing up. I never really got to play Sega very often outside of,
my house,
outside of your house or other family members' place. So
yeah.
And see that brings up a perfectly awesome point. Everyone today bitches and fights over PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. When we were all growing up, it was always really awesome when you had friends and new people that had the opposite, because you got to play and experience the games that you didn't get to play at your own house.
Yeah. Anybody remember anything about Sonic 3? I do believe Sonic 3, never owned the game. I ended up renting it a couple of times. Sonic 3 is the debut of Knuckles, is it not?
Was it Knuckles or Tails that debuted in 3?
Tails debuted in 2. Tails is on the cover of 2.
Yeah. So I do believe that Knuckles did debut in 3.
He did, yep. I just checked it up, yep.
He did. And Sonic 3 was really cool. It was a lot like Sonic 2, but it was a little more interactive to a point. It kind of reminded me of Sonic and Knuckles. It was kind of more along like that kind of gameplay style. It had a lot more going on the screen. You had explosions and levels, things kind of falling apart. And at the end, remember the spinning sign that you would run past? It would actually fall, and you could actually jump and keep it up in the air and collect more rings and stuff. It was really cool. They brought back some cool levels. They had a kind of like this cool underwater level in Sonic 3 that was really fun.
So I don't remember Sonic 3 very well at all, to be honest. So So that's just me, though. I mean, I don't remember. Although it's funny that we're on Google here, or I'm on Google, and I seen that you could get a Sonic 2-pack, which had Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3, which is pretty cool.
Oh, see, I never knew that. Oh no, I thought you could open up Sonic and Knuckles and insert Sonic 3 into it.
Here, I have just sent the link to these fine gentlemen. I believe that's all we have on Sonic and Mario. We hope you've enjoyed our talk on some retro Sonic and Mario games. We're going to take some time because you can't talk about all new games all year long. We're going to take some time and go over a bunch of old games when we get the opportunity. I mean, really quickly here to end the show, what are some old games, without getting into details about them, that you guys would like to talk about in the year to come? Mondo, you first.
So there's 3 of them in particular that I'd really like to talk about. One of them's not that old, but it's the original Crazy Taxi. I don't know if you guys ever had the opportunity to play that at length like I did. Pretty fun. The second one would be the original Batman and Robin game on the Sega Genesis. I don't know if you guys ever played that one or
I
not.
had that.
Based on the animated series, was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And the third game was a game that I played the crap out of when I was a kid. And that was, it was called Six Pack.
Never heard of it.
It was a cartridge that had 6 games on it. I believe it was Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Sonic 1, Columns, which was kind of like Sonic's or Sega's poor man's version of Tetris, and a couple other fun games. So it had a motorcycle game on there that was really fun.
Interesting. Fizz, how about you?
Oh man, I've got to start with Turtles in Time.
Is that the
Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
regular Nintendo?
I played it on the SNES. I can't recall if it was on the NES or not.
I remember there was a multiplayer regular Nintendo game where you could play through the whole game with 2 of you. It was one of the last regular Nintendo games I ever had, actually.
Next up, for me, oh god, it's tough. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Which one? There were 2 of them.
You can package them because they were both the same game, just different. One was the series and one was the movie. I'm talking the side scroller,
Okay.
not the fighting games. No Shogun editions. Although that was a pretty sweet game.
The first one, I believe, had all the Rangers, but only the Green Ranger from Tommy's, and then the movie obviously had the White Ranger. Am I correct on that?
I don't think Tommy was in the first one.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it was just the original 5 Rangers.
I never had the side-scrolling Power Rangers. I only had the fighting one, and it was fun. It was cool because you actually got to fight with the Power Zord or the Megazords.
Megazords. Yes. Yeah. The first one I had was you got to fight as Megazords.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun game as well. But for me, it's about the
I'm just trying to search up really quick. I mean, I played the movie, obviously.
Yeah.
I know there was one where you could be the Green Ranger.
And the third game, while you search up that information, for me, Duke Nukem 3D.
Oh, and now you're going back.
I am. Not as old as the other ones I just named, but takes you back to those ancient computer gaming days.
For me, I think you would have to have the Crash Bandicoot series.
Yes.
Awesome series.
I was always pro Crash.
I'm
Me
still
too.
pro Crash.
James Bond GoldenEye.
Oh, beautiful.
That
That game goes without saying. Though.
Yeah,
I
an
mean, really.
absolute must.
It's one of the greatest video games of all time. Period.
And I really don't know if I have a third. I've been searching up the Power Rangers information here while we're on here, and I don't see the game that I'm referring to yet, but I do know, I believe it was on Sega. I'm not sure. I don't see it, but I do see what you're talking about, Fizz, is there was 5 of them in that first one, so I'm struggling to find a proper list with all the games. Because I know there was a lot more than 6 Power Rangers games ever, and this is only showing me 6.
If you count the console games and the all of the different handheld games we've had in the last decade.
Oh yeah.
Definitely an abundance of them.
Yeah, but anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you have to look forward to in the future. Fizz, thanks for hosting. Mondo, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for Hyperspace Gaming. We have a bunch of stuff coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Good night.